fight.
Right.
Right? So this is all putting the whole structure back together the old country boy way. The country boys call it knocking. Right? And we from Mississippi. We Mississippians. My father from Canton, Mississippi. My mama from Magnolia, Mississippi.
My family from the Delta, Indianola.
See? Your family right down there where my family at.
Yep.
Right? My mama left Mississippi and then she got trained on her training ground in the E&O. That's where she bumped into my big mama.
Okay.
Right? This is where she learned about the conjure. But later on, she would convert to the church in order to conceal who we was.
Right.
Right? So she ended up moving from New Orleans to Chicago where she meet my father.
Right.
You know? So then we put all this shit together. We end up coming down the line. I know who Big Mama want me to tell y'all. Angel Bay, red. Larry Hoover, blue. And the two-headed chief off the West Coast, right, is Angel Bay. I mean, is Tookie Williams.
Tookie. Right. Let me, you know, I wanted to say this too before I forget, G. TP on that. You know, I know you were speaking on the Moors, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I did some time in the feds, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you one thing, bro. I've seen so many brothers go in the feds because of that paperwork shit. It is crazy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, and it's so I got homies that, you know what I'm saying, been to the feds, Moors kicking all that woo woo. Next thing you know, trying to get a crib and all this. Man, these brothers in the feds, bro. You know, and I always said it's something ain't right about that shit. Like if we ain't trying to be a part of their structure, why are we filing certain paperwork to be a part of their structure?
With them.
Exactly. And you know, they are saying, you know, the brothers, oh no, Mo, man, woo, woo, woo. But you know, I always thought, like, why is it's 100 of you brothers in here and none of them ain't there because they on some other type, they on that paperwork.
Yeah.
They lost their whole lives. 20, 10, 15 years. You know, they get big numbers for that shit, bro.
Yeah, it's what they call that shit. It's a name they got for it when you be trying to do that paperwork. That's a constructive fraud.
Right.
Right. So the problem is, because I've been looking at the shit since '95. So I think I'm well versed in it enough to know what the problem with it is and why it would never work. The first problem with it is that you're right if you the way that you arguing it, but you arguing it to the wrong motherfuckers.
Right.
Right? That's the problem. In their system, when you separate from their system, you become an enemy combatant. What most of us don't know is Supreme Court already ruled that the ones us that look like us are classified as enemy combatants back in the 1800s.
Right.
Then they came with this COINTELPRO shit. They also said that they, you know, this is how you get rid of these motherfuckers. This the problem. Why are we a problem?
Right.
We a problem because it's our shit and they don't ever want us to figure it out because we'll get together and tell them to get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Right? So it'll go back to what Pac said. We might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this, we'll burn this bitch down, get us pissed.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
and yeah, that whole thing though, fam, like that paperwork shit, man, like when you go to the feds and you see so many righteous brothers in there because they trying to file that crazy ass paperwork, man, and it seems like all of them, they just be looping around and they get the worst treatment, they get the diesel treatment, you feel me? Anything go wrong, they just send them to another prison and be like, oh yeah, because that sovereignty shit, you feel me? Like it's all a game. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've been seeing through it. So when you call it out, not too many brothers call it out that's in this community that you can say, you feel me? But when you called it out, I was like, yeah, I definitely feel him on that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you remember that movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves, Devil's Advocate, when he was the
yep,
attorney, right?
yep,
So these the motherfuckers you making deals with, devil's advocates.
right,
The devil mean enemy. Take all that mystical ass bullshit out of it. That's all it means is your enemy.
right,
When Elijah Muhammad said the white man the devil, he wasn't lying, but the white man ain't even white.
right,
Right?
right,
Because if it was, he wouldn't have been able to infiltrate the Nation of Islam.
right. And that's the first thing the Moors tell you, that the white man ain't white.
Because they telling you who they is. They got to give you the opportunity to discover what the fuck they talking about.
Right. And so when you said that, it made all the sense in the world, fam. I'm like, damn, he breaking it down. You feel me?
Right. Because they came over here as black conquistadors. What do conquistador mean?
Conquer.
Two-door
Okay.
quest. It's the conquest of the two doors. Who is the two doors? That's the black nobility of Europe. They telling you who they is. You just can't follow the words back. If you don't follow the words back to where they came from, you can't trace the enemy back to where he came from.
Right, right, right.
We had our skirmishes with each other. If anybody tell y'all we didn't fight amongst each other, they telling you a goddamn lie. Right? But we didn't kill each other like they do now.
Right.
If my son, your son had a problem, we meet up in the motherfuckers in the town square and we make a circle and then they can scrap that shit out. When it's over with, they shake hands like me and then leave that motherfucking beef on the floor.
Right.
Right? And that's what Larry and Jeffton was doing when it started, if we remember.
Right.
But they was also having breakfast programs, educational programs, lunch programs, and shit that the government was supposed to be doing that they wasn't doing.
Right.
Right? Panthers got ran out of Chicago. That left the Disciple Nation, the Vice Lord Nation, and the Peace Stone Nation to take care of the community because it wasn't no motherfucking body else for us to turn to.
Right.
Right? Like, a lot of people don't know that King David rose to prominence protecting Jewish business owners from Italian mobsters. Right? And they gave him a crest. The crest that they gave him that motherfucking title of King David.
Right.
Right? Because he became the protectorate of people that was minding their own business. They didn't look like us, but they didn't treat us like the motherfuckers that claimed they was us and was doing dirt to us.
Right.
And they was using people that don't look like us to block the lodges. Right? So now we can't never get in there to see what's going on behind the curtain.
Right.
Because don't nobody that look like us have the opportunity to get through the front door.
Right.
Our response to that was the Ellis Island immigration draw. Because they already got kicked out of Europe.
Right.
We need Europeans to tell us who these motherfuckers is. And they also using Europeans to keep us out of the lodges. So once we overrun the institutions, now we can slide people that look like them into the lodges without them ever being knowing that we got motherfuckers in there with them because they look like them. Just like y'all got motherfuckers that killed off all our leaders because they looked like us.
Right.
Right? So once that was done, now they had to give us the information so that we'll know what's going on. Go back to the Peace Stones. The same motherfucking people that was bucking the system in the Catholic Church was giving motherfucking Angel Bay them safe haven in the church. Right? Remember, what's his name? Father Sabina. He did a whole lot of work in our community in the 60s and 70s. Right? And he knew what was going on.
Right.
That's why him and Farrakhan still jam to this day, because the pale skin put his head on the line for people that look like us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they tried to run their scam on us. We called motherfuckers over here that already fought them and won. If they wouldn't have never won, they would have still been in Europe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
That's how we end up having to make tribal alliances all across the land. Right?
Okay.
All of the elder women in the community know when one of us gonna be born and where we gonna be born at. There's certain ones of us that they know from past lives when we pass, they know when we coming back. When that energy gonna return that can develop the character of this individual.
Right.
Right? And that's how they know, the same way that the lodges was tracking us across lifetimes without us knowing. That's what we discovered, that they was using the astrology for, as a navigator, navigating the returns of the chiefs of the land so that they can murder them, so that they can never reclaim the land. Right? They can't never reclaim the land if they ain't here. And physical. So it got to keep falling into another king, to another king, to another king, to another king, until they exhaust all of the ones on the land. And when the last one rise up, if he can't get the job done, then they all lose.
Right.
Right? What's the job? What's the end game? Unify the clans on the land. Let them know that the motherfucking imposters look like us, but they don't vibe like us. If we follow how we feel, follow how we operate, and disregard how they operate, we'll automatically be able to link up across barriers.
Right. 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 Man, well, you be dropping it, fam.
Yeah, I got a question for you as well.
Hold on. Yeah, let me jump on this.
So what do you think is like the biggest issue that we have and pretty much like uniting everybody or getting everybody onto this knowledge? Do you think it's like money? Do you think it's like education? Do you think we don't like what do you think is really holding us back?
The Department of Education all across the land is the cause of the problem. It's where they misinform the children on purpose to make them think wrong. So if you take a calculator, this came straight out of Dianetics, by the way, and it actually worked because I tried it. Take a calculator, press one number down, and try to do a problem. It won't work. It will never give you the right answer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why it will never give you the right answer? Because by you holding that button down, it's always inputting the wrong information. Right? So this is what they training our brains, our children's brains to do. Input the wrong information at all times. So when you try to teach them right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, they have to overcome their understanding of the wrong knowledge, the wrong wisdom, and the wrong, all of that shit wrong. The miseducation of the Negro protocol. If you can put the chains around their brains, you don't have to put them around their ankles. Right? And the ones most rebellious, that's most likely to break the chains from the brain, those are the ones that you put in physical chains. Right? So where we at now, you know what I'm saying, we need to be letting the word reach back to the land, all across the land. They coming.
Right.
Ain't no doubt about it. These motherfuckers coming and they not happy. Because nobody could see that the enemy was masquerading as the righteous motherfuckers all the time. They was doing all the dirt and accusing the righteous motherfuckers so they can get away.
Right.
called a scapegoat scenario, right? So the start teaching children critical thinking and practical problem solving, give them a great advantage because they took it out of the curriculum. It used to be automatic with the curriculum. Right now, if you want your child to have critical thinking, it's all separated. It used to be hardwired into math, science, and reading. It's not there no more. They have to take critical thinking, practical problem solving separate, or you got to teach them.
Right.
You know, and most of the children right now are born critical thinkers. They will call an adult on a bullshit in a heartbeat.
For sure. I seen that shit all the time.
Yeah. You know, and they don't have no reverence for the adult because the adults has failed the children for too many generations.
Right.
Right. So the only adults they gonna respect is the ones that can see from their level. Most adults think children are lesser than. How you gonna get a world to somebody lesser than? The children is than because they inherit the future. It's up to you to make sure they reach their potential as best you know how. Right. So right now, our biggest thing is we believe that this shit that we going through is normal, and we believe that this bullshit called the United States ain't gonna never come to an end.
Right.
Right. Soon as we realize this shit is over, called the United States, that corporation is no longer operational. They've even taken the DC off of the map.
Right.
Right. All of
well, since it was like 2020, they did it in 2020 or was it 2019?
They just did it a couple months ago. If you look up DC on Google or Earth right now, it's just gonna say Washington.
I was talking about the corporation.
Oh, the corporation was over with when Trump, when Biden supposed to took office. They took office and took a dead corporation.
Right. So I'm glad you got on. I wanted to ask you something because I seen you post this, and I've been following this situation for a while. How you feel about that? The Judy chick that be posting about the intel.
Wait a minute, what you talking about?
The intel. I seen you put clips up. It's like Judy, the Nard Chronicles, the talking about what's the Dom, the Zim, the Dinar.
Oh, you talking about the economic system?
Yeah, with the currency and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really focus on the currency part because I'm more focused on the part of the showing our true leaders, right, and putting them out in the front for the people to see. This is some real deal shit. We was really making connections behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We was really putting our own shit back together.
Right.
And it's not gonna make sense to most of our people until they see Larry and Jeff in the public eyesight.
Right.
When they see him in the public eyesight, it's gonna have a holy shit effect. You know?
That is real.
And yeah, another thing too I asked about, about the education aspect is because I'm down here in Atlanta, and I'm working with some people, and one of my business partners, well, they all retired educators. So we work directly like with the King family and stuff like that. And a lot of different mayors and stuff down here trying to basically get our school system kind of kicked off. And we've been working on for about 6-7 years, but every time we were trying to basically kick everything off, we would kind of get shut down by like the politicians and just different things like that, because they were saying we were competing with school systems and stuff like that. So it's pretty much like a kind of like a vocational aspect. So basically where we would train, basically a school to prison pipeline. So one of the main things that we were doing was working with the judges and stuff like that.
About to spark up so we can get there.
This wind knocking, huh?
Uh-huh.
What it's trying to tell us?
Which one?
The wind.
Oh, the wind?
Yeah.
The wind telling us to listen.
Yo, how
And when you listen,
how can I learn the wind knock?
it's you already know how to do it. You just don't remember you know how to do it.
Uh-huh.
Right? So when you go back over your life, your elders was teaching you how to wind talk. You just didn't remember what they was doing. It seemed like they was doing some foolishness.
Okay.
It didn't seem like they was teaching you nothing of value. It just seemed like some foolishness that grown folks tell kids.
Okay. So
right.
So when you speak into the nature, is it telepathy, or is it actually me verbally communicating English what I think is going on?
Okay, so the more tuned in, when it come in, it'll translate in your mind.
Okay.
Right? Because it's a subconscious language.
Okay.